Hello. In the last couple of years, I've noticed a disturbing rise of hate speech and far radicalism, especially online on sites like Twitter. The reason I'm making this documentary today is because I want to notify and tell people about this concerning and rising global issue. Today, we'll be looking at the origins of this kind of hate speech in places like the United States, the United Kingdom, and especially online. Right until the 2024 elections came around, people had not expected Trump to return, especially after his own supporters had launched an attempted coup and insurrection on the Capitol in 2021 to try and prevent the ratification of Joe Biden as president. Since then, Trump has created somewhat of a cult of personality around him. Throughout Trump's re-election campaign, him and his supporters have spread dangerous rhetoric about Latin Americans. In a rally, Tony Hinchcliffe, a Trump ally, called Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States and mostly Latin American populated, a floating island of garbage. In the presidential debate with Kamala Harris, he spread false information about the Haitian population in Springfield, Ohio, which originally came from Facebook. In the debate, he said stuff like, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there, which had led to multiple bomb threats and of course schools in the city. Even J.D. Vance, the vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump at the time, said, if I had to create stories so that American media can actually pay attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do. Most concerningly, however, is the endorsement and implementation of policies from Project 2025, a thorough manifesto detailing how the president should use executive orders to undermine civil liberties like that of LGBTQ rights and turn the United States into that similar to a Christian autocracy. Trump, during the campaign, said he had no idea about Project 2025. But after Trump's victory in the 2024 elections and his swearing in as the 47th president of the United States, Trump used executive orders which mirrored or were exactly like that shown in Project 2025. Throughout Trump's second term, we've seen these dangerous rhetoric put into full force, especially against immigrants and minority peoples who have been targeted by ICE Border Patrol, who have been deployed to major cities across the country with many instances of ICE using racial profiling and ignoring human rights against groups like Latinos, even if they are legal US citizens. The ICE deployment to major cities have caused major outrage with the ICE murder of Rene Good and Alex Pretty, both innocent American citizens who were murdered in broad daylight. Although social media had twisted their deaths into being justified, like saying Good had run into one of the ICE officers or that Pretty was carrying a weapon on him. They've been using that or using AI to twist and turn the narrative against them. Over the past 10 years, Nigel Farage has become quite a popular celebrity in British politics. Ever since he led the charge of the Brexit referendum, he had become the main symbol of the far right in British politics. Since 2023, he's been the leader of Reform UK, a far-right populist party campaigning with a hard stance against immigration. Despite them winning only 5 seats in Parliament last election, they hold a tremendous amount of power among British politics. If the election was held today, they'll most doubtedly be the largest party in the UK. Farage and Trump share a large amount of ideology with Trump and the MAGA movement, with Farage even campaigning for Trump during the 2024 elections. Farage also supported Trump's war in Iran, but quickly changed his mind when he realised the British public did not like the actions of Iran. In 2024, following the Southport stabbings, false misinformation spread online about the perpetrator, including incorrect name, claim that he was a Muslim asylum seeker in an attempt to fuel hate speech against specific groups. It's all culminated in the Southport riots, which has spread across the country, which had turned violent really fast. Multiple mosques and hotels hosting asylum seekers were attacked as a result of these protests. Farage himself was accused of feeding into the rhetoric and conspiracy theories by former head of UK counter-terrorism, Neil Basu, who, for saying that the truth was being withheld by the public and also supposedly legitimising the protest, saying, what you've seen in the streets of Hartlepool, of London, of Southport is nothing to what could have happened over the course of the next few weeks. After the riots in Southport and many places across the country, the police have become far quicker in describing the subject. Like that in the 2024 Liverpool parade attack, in which where a white British man had driven into a crowd and injured over 130 people. This was deliberately to squash any conspiracy theories or misinformation that the driver was a minority to fuel hate speech. As of recently, there's been the Raise the Colours, an attempt to promote British and English nationalism by hanging the Union Jack or any of the 4 nations of the United Kingdom. They were doing this by putting flags and stuff like lampposts, buildings and roundabouts. Many anti-race groups called out this campaign for being an excuse to be anti-immigrant or anti-minority instead of actual English patriotism, especially considering the movement spawned during a time of anti-immigration sentiments across the UK. One of the most prominent examples of this is Brownhills in the Black Country. On a roundabout with the statue of Jigger the Miner, there's a huge excessive amount of flags on there, planting tons of Union Jacks. Placing flags on public highways is technically illegal. However, instances to remove these flags have caused backlash from supporters, with some council staff facing death threats or harassment over them. On October 4th, 2025, there was an armed attack on a mosque in Peacehaven with harmful Islamic intent. Many locals believe that this attack caused by the rise of the Raise the Colours movement, saying that it had created the climate for the attack. The manager of the mosque saying that it didn't have anything wrong with the flag of the country as long as it was done with the right intention. But these have been put up with a tender divide. A discernible pattern with the stories in both of these countries is that the far right have been using social media in order to spread false information and rhetoric about minorities and encourage divided communities. The side most guilty of this is Twitter, or as it has been known now, X. And since October of 2022, it has been owned by the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Since his acquisition, he has used it to boost for the far right globally and fund far right political parties and figures across the world. Most notably, he's been one of the most vocal supporters of Donald Trump during his 2024 campaign. He even ran a lottery for voters of Donald Trump with only $1 million on the line, even though it's most definitely illegal and bribery. On January 20th of 2025, which was the day of Trump's inauguration, Elon stood on stage and did what many believe to be a Nazi salute, and he was condemned by multiple Jewish organisations, like the Jewish Council of Foreign Affairs and the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. This has left many people concerned about the richest man in the world, and also someone who was appointed to work in the Trump administration and had seemingly done all this. Even in the United Kingdom, Elon had donated £100 million to Reform UK and also funded and supported Tommy Robinson and made a symbol of the far right and former leader of the English Defence League. He has supported Tommy Robinson in his case in terrorism charges and very much funded it. He has also been unbanned on Twitter, even though on many sites he has been banned for very dangerous rhetoric and content on there. This clearly goes to show that social media has been a large effect on our society and how people see the world, and it's very easy to manipulate it. Thank you for watching. Hope you've learned something from this video so you can save yourself from forms of misinformation and stand up to hate speech online. Thank you for watching.